I think in the finals it's going to be Giulia taking on Utami. That is the biggest match in Stardom that they have not done to this point. It is a fantastically protected match that we have not seen. I think we were supposed to see it, or maybe that's my own booking, but I expected to see it a year ago at this time, or maybe a little later in the year, but we didn't get it due to Giulia's injury. This year, I think we're going to get it, and I think Giulia is going to get that win and win this tournament. It just makes sense. She is, like I said earlier, such a slam dunk to win this red belt at some point, and she has now been. It was weird because she had such a meteoric rise when she first came to the company. She was immediately pushed as a top star. More so than anybody in the company that I can remember has, right? She wins Cinderella right away. Of course, the pandemic happens. She wins the Wonder Belt right away. She's that champion. She has a dominant stable that never loses. She's tag champ with Shuri, who's just as dominant as her, right? She's been pushed so dominant. She's one of the faces of the company too. Like when people talk about Stardom now, they associate Giulia with the company. She's one of the few wrestlers that non-Stardom fans probably know, along with Mayu and Utami. And so just all of that combined, and it's weird. Her title match earlier in the year, because it was night one of a 2-night deal, almost makes me think that it wasn't like the real main event of that whole thing was Shuri versus Mayu, and Shuri versus Giulia has kind of gotten lost in the shuffle as the year has gone on. Even though I think you and I are in agreement, we think that's her best title match yet. So with all that being said, maybe not better than maybe not better than the one she won it, but with all that being said, I think Giulia is a fantastic choice to win this tournament. She makes the most sense. It is about time. Like, stuff has not gone her way this year, and it is time for DDM, who started off the year with a bang, adding a couple members, but has since lost members and does not currently hold gold at all. Unless I'm forgetting somebody, which is crazy to say. They lose Natsupoi, they lose Mirai, they lose Shuri, of course, as champion. All that put together, it's like, it's time. It's Giulia's time. I haven't felt this confident in a 5-star prediction in a long time. And so I'm going with Giulia in this one.
Yeah, the last time I felt this confident was last year when I picked Giulia. So I'm going to do it again.
I was like, it's 50-50 sure. Well, I wasn't 50-50. I think I did prip Giulia, but I was like, Shuri has a legitimate chance. This year, I'm like 80% sure it's Giulia.
Giulia is someone that, like, she is destined for that title. But I think, personally, I've been waiting for her to win that title. It's just like, it's been the waiting game without like hurting Stardom in any way, because it hasn't made anything predictable, because Shuri's champion, understandably. Like when we thought at one time she was going to beat Utami, Giulia that is, then maybe it did, but we've seen it change. They've moved on. They've told different stories. That Shuri Utami thing just had a life of its own. It wasn't. I still don't think it was supposed to be that way, but that story was so natural and so great that they kind of walked into it with that happening, and then Giulia getting hurt. So it's like, okay, well, we can definitely do this now. If they weren't doing it before, I still think Giulia was supposed to win. But you bring up that point. DDM is falling apart. They are falling apart at the seams. They have lost member after member after member. God's Eye has went on to be their own thing. Shuri left them. Mirai left. Natsupoi's gone. They are on the brink of just, completely falling apart. But how do you bring that all together? You have the leader, the one who has been working her way back to getting that title, win the 5-star Grand Prix, go on to the final show of the year, presumably. I don't know why you wouldn't at this point. I think that's the perfect way to keep doing this, is do that final show. Hopefully they just keep the name of Stardom Dream Kingdom or something. Make that your Wrestle Kingdom. That's something that Stardom, they don't need it, but they should have it. That's just my opinion, because we know it's that year-end show now. That's their biggest show of the year. But Giulia is ready. She's been ready for a long time now. When she reappeared in the 5-star last year in the new look, with the the mixture of her GI Joe days and the mixture of her Wonder of Stardom championship run. It's like, this is the time. This is her time. I absolutely think she should go on to win this and win the title. And I know people might be afraid of, falling into that trap that companies do fall in of year-long reign, 5-star winner wins,
Mhm.
year-long reign, 5-star winner wins,
Yep.
because that would be the third year in a row that this happens. But I think if you want to break the mold after this one, great. Maybe Tam Nakano wins that title and she has the belt until the end of the year. I do not know. All I do know is Giulia should be winning and ending the year as the World of Stardom champion. So that's where I'm at there. You and me both agree on our favorites. In terms of who represents the Red Stars block, I think I was pretty open about it. I have no clue. Utami makes sense, but I could understand them wanting to protect it. Micah makes sense, kind of like in that Jamaica spot a few years ago. Of she's not necessarily going to win, but she's going to give you a great final, and it's a good story. You have DDM versus DDM trying to go against one another. That's obviously a story. The Risa Sarah one, you kind of convinced me that would be really cool. It would be such a good story with the double prominence for Giulia that night. There's so many different ways to go here. But in the end, we both picked Giulia as our winner.